Welcome to the Insomnia Project, our podcast that's meant to help you listen and sleep and drift off. So just sit back, relax, listen as we have a conversation about the mundane. You know, I had someone tell me that they like to listen to our podcast when they travel. On planes, it relaxes them and allows them to get through any sort of anxious period. So they told me that they would listen to about 7 episodes on their plane, on their trip. And they felt very informed. And I said, did you actually have a chance to sleep? And they said, I drifted in and out, which I don't do on planes because they said they don't fall asleep upright. But I should mention that I'm your host, Marco Timpano.
And I'm your co-host, Nidhi Khanna.
I went on a tangent before I got through the intro. I didn't even say our where to tweet us.
No. Well, I think our longtime listeners know to tweet us at Listen and Sleep. But thank you for that impromptu tangent.
It's because I was talking to someone just recently, and they said, I listen to it when I travel, and they travel quite a bit. And I was like, that's so great. It's great.
It is great.
Love it.
We love that. Marco, I see that you have a...
well, you said you're going to have this with me, right?
Yes,
and Nidhi has this.
Explain what it is. It is, we're currently eating a double chocolate chili pepper cookie.
Yum.
And Marco said, well, do you have a glass of milk?
I love cookies and milk.
So, that is what we're doing right now as we embark on this podcast.
Do you like milk?
I love milk.
Oh, I wasn't sure, because you said I'm saving some milk for my coffee, so I thought, oh, maybe you only have milk with your coffee. You don't have? Do you have milk on its own?
Oh yeah, like if I'm stressed at night, I will make myself a warm glass of milk with honey.
Classic.
And cardamom.
Oh, well, I mean that's sort of the base of chai tea, right?
Exactly, and
you know how much I love that, so
yes, and so it always makes me feel. Kind of relaxed and helps me get to sleep. I think they say that milk has like some sort of chemical in it that kind of induces a bit of sleep in you.
I think so. It must be because
you give it to kids to help them fall asleep.
My mom would do the same thing: milk and honey and brandy to help you relax and fall asleep. And is this something your mom would do, or just something you've done recently with the milk?
No, my mom would give me that all the time.
And so, it's cross-cultural, and, my mom's been doing it for years with regards
to... the brandy thing, like, you would put it in, infants who are teething, if you put, like, a little bit of milk and brandy. No, but that's wrong. I think that's absolutely wrong.
No, they used to do that, but, if you have a...
toothache.
Or what is it, canker sore?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of brandy. But let me ask you this. Have you ever had buffalo milk?
So, Marco, I have had buffalo milk.
Like just recently because it's cool and it's the in
No. I have buffalo milk when I used to go as a kid to India.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. There's not really, I think there's cow's milk, but we would usually, have buffalo milk. It was creamier in the texture.
It is creamier, and you know what? It's not as heavy as cow's milk. So some people who are lactose intolerant can have, goat milk. They can have buffalo milk. But the beautiful thing about milk today is you can get lactose-free milk, 1%, 2%, what we call homogenized milk in Canada.
I don't like the homogenized
I love it.
/ full-fat milk.
Yes, fantastic.
Really?
Your best coffees are made with that, cappuccinos, and I just love it.
I find it too heavy.
I don't drink it as much anymore. Now we drink 2%, but I prefer 2% over skim.
Right, same here.
But
I used to love skim though.
It all depends on what you're used to drinking, because we drank skim for quite some time, and I was like, I love skim. You know what I mean? I love milk. It's been I love cheeses. I love yogurt. Of course, you don't even have to mention ice cream. What else is made with milk?
Cheese, Marco. I just love cheese.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had kefir?
I have. I gotta say, I'm not a big fan.
Nidhi, I'm going to change your life. So,
whoa.
You're going to do this, and we're going to talk about it on a future episode.
Okay.
I want you to get a little, not a jar. What would you call it? What does kefir come in? A little container of kefir. Every morning, you do a shot glass. So 1 ounce to 1.25 ounces of kefir. First thing in the morning.
I'm writing this down.
Yeah, I can see you writing it down. And that's how you start your day.
What's it going to do for me?
It's going to make your life fantastic. It's going to keep you regular.
Okay.
Now, I know, but it's also just going to be fantastic. You'll get used to it, because if you have a plain kefir, it's hard at first to try because it almost has an effervescence to it.
Yeah, it's a weird taste.
It's a different taste. I wouldn't say it's a weird taste. It's a taste that we're not used to, because as North Americans, we're used to everything being sweet and super sweet and super crazy. Now, you can get I shouldn't say super crazy, but like we're not used to these flavors. It's sort of like, you know how, I think it's the Japanese who have a name for umami. Is it umami? Mm-hmm. And it's that taste of like mushrooms that we don't have, that we have like sweet, sour, and whatnot, and they have that sort. It's like bitter. North Americans don't eat a lot of bitters, bitter greens, like they do in Europe. Likewise with kefir. Kefir has its own taste, and it takes a bit of getting used to. But if you have it every day in the morning, first thing, for 1 month, I want to see if you're going to say anything. It also, you get used to it. It kind of also helps you to get full a little bit for breakfast if you're eating breakfast on the go. I don't know if you have a full breakfast in the morning.
I don't usually eat breakfast.
Right.
I'm the worst.
So you start your day with nothing, right?
Yes.
But if you have a bit of kefir, it's going to be something in your system. So I'm throwing the challenge down.
You are passionate about this kefir.
And do I ask me if I have it in my house right now? No. So I need to, when I'm done here, I'm going to go buy some kefir.
Okay. Well, maybe we can do the challenge together then.
All right.
Done.
The kefir challenge.
Kefir challenge. I like it. Do you have a favorite milk product?
Well, that's a great question. I have a cookie in my mouth, so I'm thinking.
How do you like the cookie, by the way?
It's fantastic.
It's really good, eh? This part's yours too.
It's very rude to be eating a cookie and podcasting, but
it's a good cookie.
it's because of the milk.
My favorite, like cheese, I can eat cheese from here until the cows come home.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you meant like a favorite type of milk, not like a milk product.
Oh, no, I meant milk products.
And
sorry.
I'm thinking, like, what do I like better? 2% to cows, goat.
No, sorry, I meant like a milk product.
Oh, we've always had cheese in my house.
Really?
Well, my mother grew up on a farm in Italy. And so they had cows, and they always had cheese.
Oh.
So as a result, in my house growing up, we could have nothing in the cupboard, nothing in the pantry, nothing in the fridge, but you would always find cheese. And so it's odd in my house now if we don't have cheese. Like, I feel really like lost if there's not some sort of cheese in the house.
So what kind of cheese would you have when you were a kid? Like, was there a certain staple cheese?
Yeah, there would be. It's from my mother's region of Italy, Friuli, a Friulano cheese, which is its own. You had it before, right? It's its own sort of cheese, kind of like milder provolone that's a little bit more aged, kind of like a cross between a provolone and a cheddar. I don't know how else to just. It's its own thing. So we always had at least that one. But we would have cheddar. We would have Swiss cheese. I love Swiss cheese. Probably one of my favorites is Swiss. Blue. I was gonna say green cheese. Blue cheeses. I love blue cheeses. What's my favorite?
Favorite Italian cheese, or your favorite cheese? Sorry.
I love burratas. I actually just saw how a burrata is made.
Really?
Yeah. Have you ever? So I've made ricotta.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Have you ever made cheese, Nidhi?
My mom used to make paneer.
Which is an Indian cheese.
Which is an Indian cheese.
How would you describe that cheese?
It's kind of like a cottage cheese type of texture.
But firmer, isn't it?
Much firmer, but I think it's got that. When it's homemade, a little bit of the wateriness that you would have from a cottage cheese.
But it's not like a cottage cheese. It's got more.
It's thicker.
Yeah,
but it's made essentially by boiling full fat milk to a point that it curdles.
That's how you do ricotta.
Oh, really?
And then you put it in a cheesecloth. I don't know if your mom puts it in a cheesecloth, and you allow sort of the liquid because it's almost like the milk separates when you're doing that. I want to say it separates into whey.
Yeah.
I think that's what whey is. I could be wrong. Like, you know how in that fairy tale, Little Miss Muffet, she sat at the tuffet eating her curds and whey. Now, if she was Italian, she'd be eating her ricotta and whey. Yeah, curd. Or maybe it's the curd. It's the curd. Oh, Nidhi, you've got to look it up. I think okay. I'm gonna guess, and you're gonna tell me if I'm right or wrong. So the curds are what remains from the milk that becomes cheese, and the whey is the liquid that is separated from the curd. Now you're going to tell me if I'm right or if I'm completely wrong.
I'm still concerned about the Little Miss Muffet lyrics.
Well, you know that song, that nursery rhyme, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it has any whey in it.
Yeah, eating her curds and whey. Whey spelled W-H-E-Y.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Of course I'm right.
I didn't know
if
that.
Little Miss Muffet was in Italy, she'd be eating her ricotta and whey.
Well, interesting.
Okay, so Nidhi's going to give us the definition of the two, but...
Between ricotta and...
No, between curds, spelled C-U-R-D-S, and whey.
Well, okay.
And we know curds really well in Canada because...
Of poutine.
And poutine is when you take French fries and you put curds and then gravy on it, so the gravy melts the curds. It's quite fantastic. Wouldn't you say?
I really enjoy it, especially when I'm in Montreal visiting home. I'm just a little concerned about this curds and whey thing because, okay, what are curds and whey?
Okay, are you going to give us a definition, or should I talk about how a burrata is made? Because I saw that today.
Well, I think you're going to have to start with the burrata.
Okay, so
we'll
this
come
is
back to curds and whey.
What's funny, Nidhi, is that I saw someone make burrata today. So what they did was, and her name is Linda, so hi, Linda.
Hi, Linda.
She took a cube of unstretched mozzarella, so probably 2 inches by 2 inch cube, maybe 3 inches. She then put it in a warm bath to sort of loosen or make the cheese more malleable. She put it on the table, and she had I guess it's a rolling pin, but it looked more like a paint roller, a small one, about 6 inches wide, and the roller part was wood. And she rolled it back and forth till this warm piece of of mozzarella started to flatten, almost like a pizza dough, but thinner, if you will. So it became a round circle, or roundish. She then took the center of the burrata, which is a creamy cheese center. In Italian, it's called stracciatella, but it would be like a creamy cheese with actual cream. And she put it in the center, wrapped it, or what she did was she folded it so it became like a half moon, almost like a giant ravioli or a patty. Or like an empanada, let's say. Mm-hmm. And she kind of like cupped her hands so that they were a semicircle and pressed down on it so that the cheese would sort of seal itself. Mm-hmm. She kept her hands there for she told me 5 seconds to do that. And then she gathered the outer part, so where the cheese was like still sticking out from the ravioli, patty, half moon, whatever you want to call it. And she bunched it up. So it kind of looked like a sack with a top to it, or like a present. And she wrapped it, she took one piece of that and wrapped it around itself to sort of make it hold the shape. And she had to hold that for 20 seconds, she said, till the cheese sort of sealed itself, and then she put it in a cold bath, and that was the burrata. It was fascinating, fantastic.
Wow. And was it yummy?
Oh, burrata cheese is divine. There's no other way to describe it. It's divine.
Dreaming of getting the all-new iPhone 17 Pro designed to be the most powerful iPhone ever?
Then stay in bed and let a Boost Mobile expert deliver and set it up for you.
Oh, actually, they will have to get up and open the door.
Oh, right.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com. Terms apply.
Big news! Boost Mobile is now sending experts nationwide to deliver and set up customers' new phones at home or work.
Wait, we're going on tour?
Not a tour. We're delivering and setting up customers' phones so it's easier to upgrade.
Let's get in the tour bus and hit the road.
No, not a tour bus. It's a regular car we use to deliver and set up customers' phones at home or work.
Are you a groupie on this tour?
We deliver and set up phones. It's not a tour.
Oh, you're definitely a groupie.
Introducing Store to Door. Switch and get a new device with expert setup and delivery wherever you're at.
Delivery available for select devices purchased at boostmobile.com.
We live in a culture obsessed with dieting, weight loss, and exercise, and that can make eating disorder behaviors easy to miss. But the reality is, eating disorders are serious mental illnesses that take a major toll on your health and your life. But recovery is possible. Eating disorders are more common than you might think. Chances are you know someone who is struggling with one, or maybe you're struggling yourself. If you're concerned about an eating disorder in yourself or a loved one, I want to introduce you to Equip. Equip is a fully virtual, evidence-based eating disorder treatment program that helps patients achieve lasting recovery at home. Every Equip patient is matched with a multidisciplinary care team that includes a therapist, dietitian, medical provider, and mentors. And you get a personalized treatment plan that's tailored to your unique goals and challenges. Equip treats patients of all ages and all eating disorder diagnoses. It's covered by insurance, and there's no wait list. If you think that you or a loved one could be struggling with an eating disorder, don't wait to get help. Visit equip.health to learn more. That's equip.health.
Well, I had that answer on curds and whey.
Great.
So so cottage cheese is actually made from skim milk. And when you add so essentially the milk has all these different proteins.
Right.
And you need to separate them out. So what happens when you add this enzyme called renin to it, which is an enzyme in the cow's stomach, it separates the proteins out so that the curd protein is in the little clumps. And the whey protein is kind of the liquidy, milky part of it. So there we go. And here comes my dog scurrying around.
It's okay. It's Zena's joining the podcast today. But yeah, so I was right. That's what I was describing. The whey is more of a liquid. Like, I don't know if when you make paneer, is the liquid kind of cloudy and...
Yes, but it's very, like the liquid is very... is minimal. Oh, and there she goes.
That was actually my fault. I kind of pushed her down, so I'm sorry about that.
She's now wanting us to throw something. So it's not liquidy. I mean, when it's homemade, because of the cheesecloth and everything, there might be some liquid in it, but a lot of the paneer that you might have in like a restaurant or like prepackaged is quite hard.
So, Nidhi, you have the recipe for the kefir that you're going to have in the morning.
Yes.
We know how to make cheese or separate curds from whey.
Yes.
We both love milk.
Yes.
I'm a big yogurt fan. You?
I love yogurt.
What's your favorite yogurt?
I mean, I'm quite enjoying the Greek yogurts right now.
When I grew up, there was no Greek yogurt. It was all Balkan, or it was like regular yogurt and Balkan style yogurt.
What's the difference between Balkan yogurt and Greek yogurt?
I don't know. I'm wondering if the powers that be rebranded Balkan style yogurt to Greek yogurt. Because
controversial.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's not. I'm sure You
just started like a whole.
I didn't mean to. I'm just like
media storm.
No. Listen. I love regular yogurt. I love Greek yogurt. I love Balkan. I love yogurt. Have you ever made yogurt?
My mother's made yogurt.
It's funny. My mother's made. It really? Sounds like our mothers could shake hands. They need to meet because you get like a what's it called? The agent that.
The culture.
The culture. Yeah, that's it.
And you put it in like a clay pot.
Yeah. She had a special little pot, and she would make it. And you're like, try this.
And it was always more like tart tasting than regular yogurt. It was just fresher, I guess.
There you go. How about a creme fraiche?
Yes, but in I don't use it in very many things.
It's hard to find. I think most chefs can make creme fraiche, but it's like, you know what? We've got to find a recipe for creme fraiche.
For creme fraiche.
Because I love creme fraiche too.
So milk is a very important part of my kind of bedtime routine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, if I'm tired or stressed or something like that, then I will definitely want a glass of milk. And I like to curl up kind of with a nice glass of warm milk and a book because I enjoy kind of reading right before bed.
What's your guiltiest? No, I don't want to say guiltiest. What is the? How sometimes we read books because, it's a popular book or someone's recommended a book, but there's always a sort of category of books that I love to read that I don't get the opportunity to because I have other reading that has to take place before it, which really isn't the case.
What's your favorite kind of genre in that style?
Great question. I love biographies. I love biographies about people that I wouldn't necessarily care to know about, or like just random biographies of people who have done something that I have sort of no knowledge of, or like not my favorite actor or writer, but just a random biography I could read.
Have you read any interesting biographies lately?
You know, it's the last one I read that was... I love to read big canon biographies. So, for example, like ones on politicians, in particular politicians who I don't have a political affinity to.
Right.
So, like, I read Sarah Palin's biography just to get insight on
who she is,
right? And it was actually quite fascinating, and I had a lot more respect for her than I did prior to reading the biography. So there you go. So it's that's sort of the category, the genre of book that I wish I would read more. How about you?
I usually, so it's funny because growing up I was very much into fiction, a lot of fiction. I loved my fiction books. And recently I've gotten more into nonfiction, like reading like Malcolm Gladwell, or I'm reading a book right now called Grit.
Oh.
And it's about like why some people have the drive or the grit to succeed and while others might not. And what is that thing that kind of drives them to do that? But then
I like this book. Do you have it?
I do.
Is it yours? Or is
no,
it
it's borrowed.
Okay, because I want to get that. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it is very interesting.
You give good books. Okay, I'm going to ask you a question, and I'm going to give full credit to Tim Ferriss, who has a podcast, the Tim Ferriss Show, and he often asks this question to his guests. Okay. So I'm by no means trying to plagiarize, so I'm giving full credit to Tim Ferriss, but he will often ask, what is the book that you most often gift to people?
Oh, wow.
And take a second, and I think it's such a fascinating question, really, because
No, I have the answer. So I usually gift, depending on who it is, because if I'm giving a book, I find it very personal, and it's usually because there's something that I want, there's something about it that I don't know, I'm attracted to with this person, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that person would like it for the same lessons that it gave me.
Sure.
So I've given The Prophet by Khalil Gibran a few times.
You've never given it to me, but anyways, continue. Okay.
Next birthday. So I really, I think there's so many beautiful life lessons, but I usually give it in, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what I'm rambling about right now, but essentially Prophet.
That's the one you give.
That's the one I give. The Alchemist is another one that I've given.
Okay. Paulo Coelho.
The Paulo Coelho book. I love the Harry Potter book.
Oh, I love it. Have you gifted the Harry Potter? Just because you loved it doesn't mean you've gifted. I know you've gifted to Amanda Lean In that book.
Yes, I gifted that book.
Because she then gifted it to other people.
Else.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gifted that book to. That's right. I did.
The book that I would gift people that I haven't in a long while, but it's one of my favorite books. It's one of those books that changed me for the better. And it's interesting because I would never think that a book could change a person, but it did. It was called Love by Leo Buscaglia.
Oh.
So I guess I got to gift that to you if you're going to gift this other book. What did you call The Prophet to me?
Yeah.
But it really changed my perspective on things. So I used to love to gift it. And it was written in the 70s. It's one of those books that sometimes it's hard to even find. But that was the book that I would gift people. Oh. So
why would you gift it?
Because it changed.
But what about it changed you?
I think it made me a nicer person. Oh. So you can imagine how horrible I was prior to reading this book, because I don't think people say he's a nice guy, but it just changed things for me. I had a different perspective on humanity, I guess.
That's pretty cool.
So thank you, Tim Ferriss, for that awesome question.
That's a great question.
What was the last great book you read? Do you read in the bath? Look at me jumping.
Sometimes I do, yeah, like magazines and
Oh, I
things
love
like that.
magazines.
Or books.
No, I prefer a magazine
But
in
a
the bath.
magazine is very much a bath thing, you know, like a good kind of guilty pleasure thing.
Oh, Amanda, my wife has a lot of magazines. She has a ton of subscriptions. She loves them, and it's great. But I end up reading in the bath a lot of her magazines, so it'll be like
Modern yoga.
no, it's like
She has a lot of decor.
She has a lot of
stuff.
decor, which is great, and then she'll have like these, you know, magazines that really don't necessarily speak to me. So like Chatelaine,
Right,
some
I was just gonna say Chatelaine.
modern woman magazine. So it's really interesting because I'll just grab the closest thing because I'll forget to bring one into the bath, so I'll grab hers. And it's really interesting to read books that aren't, or magazines that aren't designed for you,
Right.
if you will, because I think it's a modern woman's magazine, right? Mm-hmm. I think that's how it's just
Something like
you would
that. Whatever
describe
that
it.
means, really.
Exactly, whatever that means. But you know, I've gotten some great advice and I've read some fantastic articles.
what?
Like just like I don't know, like I just read some interesting articles, people surviving
Oh, I see.
things, or like how to better clean your house or take advantage of. I don't even know, but I've read some awesome things in those magazines. Like even she has like what's Oprah's magazine? She'll have.
Oh, yeah, the O magazine.
Yeah, sometimes I'll read that and it'll be like the things, I forget what Oprah always says. It's like
Our favorite things.
no, it's like the thing that I learned most is something like that.
Oh,
like
right. Amanda's really good at like collecting magazines.
Mm-hmm.
She's a magazine person. I mean, there's a magazine here in Toronto called Toronto Life that I'll read.
She just wrote an article for Toronto Life.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, in
Oh,
September
yeah.
issue, Amanda wrote an article for Toronto Life. Did you know that?
I actually did know that, and I did read it
Oh.
because I'm sure our listeners know that our Amanda used to be the mascot for
The Toronto Blue Jays, who are doing amazing.
Yes, exactly.
So there you go.
Yes, I did know that actually.
Sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot. Imagine said no, I didn't.
Didn't
but-
know it. No, I did actually read it, and I love that story as well that she has to give. But other than that, I mean, I can tell you that reading for work versus reading for pleasure are so different.
Oh, undoubtedly.
Now, you're an actor, and I'm an actor as well, and we both read a lot of plays.
Right.
So, how do you feel about reading plays? Because plays are meant to be acted.
You know, because I read them with different eyes. That's a great question. You read them with, like, if it's a play that I'm reading because it's a play of interest versus a play that I'm in, I read it with different eyes, right?
True.
But yeah, but you know what's interesting, Nidhi, when you talk about plays, like, I remember David Lindsay-Abaire is a fantastic writer. So great. And I read, and I was in Good People, and I've read other ones. His words are just so beautiful on the page and coming out of the performer.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, and I love libraries, but we'll save libraries for another episode because I
that'd
could
be
talk
great.
26 minutes about a library.
I could too.
And I just love our library system. Love it. More people have to use the library.
It's true. Well, with that, we leave you once again, and we thank you for listening. You can always find us online at Listen and Sleep. And as always, we are produced by Drumcast Productions and recording here in Toronto. So we wish you a relaxing time wherever you are.
Drink some milk and read a book.
There you go.